This is an episode into the ongoing and forever expanding life, my life, as I reflect on the events of 2022.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Happy 2000! New Year 2001! Happy New Year! Happy 2004!
2005.
Happy New Year! New Year!
This is not to say that I'm making this video to express my opinion on the events that happened this year, but I'm just going over the fact of my own personal timeline. I think it's best if I explore what happened to me throughout 2022 without involving other people. But this does bring up a problem, a question. And this problem is a thought that I've had for most of the year. And that question is, how much can I share? How much can you share? How much can an artist share out of their personal life without involving others, without bringing anybody down, and doing it justice? How vulnerable can you really be when you're creating art? This question has rattled about in my brain for pretty much this entire year. But I think I found my answer. Just wait till the end. I think you'll understand. I feel like I should emphasize that a lot has happened personally to me this year. I can imagine other people have gone through a lot as well. After all, it is 365 days and a lot can happen in a year. Let's start with January. I had just gotten back from Mexico to celebrate my grandparents' 52nd anniversary. They're the two people in my life that make me believe in true love. I returned back to college to finish what would become not only my final semester of school, but also my most difficult. I fell in love. I turned 22. I finished my first acting reel. I was, without a doubt, on top of the world. So much can change in the span of a month. I do believe in the idea that days are long and years are short. But months, they're a little bit harder to gauge. I got mono. I went to see Tyler, the Creator, in concert back home. My granny passed away. I saw her the day before she passed. I got to pray over her. Then I went to her funeral, went back to my college, and this prepped me for what was considerably the most difficult week of my life to this point. I don't want to express too much personal thoughts on why it was the worst week of my life, but I'm sure after I say kind of what happened, it'll make sense. I lost my car to a white Dodge Caravan in my college town the day after my granny's funeral. And then 3 days after that, my girlfriend and I broke up. March. Miraculously, I came out of the car crash unscathed. I got cast in what would be my final main stage play with the Nebraska Repertory Theater as a student. I would be playing Howie Newsom in Thornton Wilder's Our Town. I was emotionally, psychologically, and physically exhausted. Grief has a way of doing that to you. Unbeknownst to me at the time, I started documenting my grief process and posting it on TikTok as a little personal journal. I called it Hi Brett, and I started each TikTok with me saying, Hi Brett, and then Bye Brett to end it. April, working through personal things, I started picking up exercise. At this point, I'd been going to the gym consistently for about 4 weeks. This is a similar streak to things that I've done in the past, but for once, I felt more motivated to stay in the gym because it was the one thing that made me feel better about everything that was going on. I was still heartbroken, but I knew I didn't want to be for long. I also knew that it was going to take time. It has to. A lot can happen in a week. I ended up taking the stage as Howie Newsom in Thornton Wilder's Our Town. I was spiritually hungry at this time, and during offstage moments, I began to seriously read books. These are the books I have fully read and completed this year. These are the ones I'm still working on. And these are the journals that I've written in this year. One of them is now finished. May. I put on my final 2 plays of college with some of the most creative, impactful, and joyous people in my life. We studied acting, art, and humanity over the span of 4 years. We were a true cohort. My routine started coming into play in this month. At this point, I was 2 months consistently going to the gym 5 days a week. Prayer, that was a constant. I'd started doing therapy, and I was meditating daily. I graduated college. I flew to Los Angeles with Philip Crawford and Claire McClendon the day after we graduated college. We stayed at Connors. We were a true cohort. I knew where I finally wanted to move. I started a podcast. I spent time with family, friends, and prepared for the biggest film role of my life. June. I played Carter Jackson, an addict, an actor, and a heartbreaker, in Gavin Lake's almost eerily similar script to the previous life experiences of my own. The film is now called I Refuse to Die in Omaha, Nebraska. No. The phone is trash. You gotta use the laptop for 2 reasons. Shaft hand, balls hand.
Oh my god, I didn't even think about the ball.
Yeah. Checkers. Chess. It's not out yet. More gym, therapy, meditation, reading, and prayer. My dad ended up giving me his car. With that car, I went to Chicago and then proceeded to get my finger crushed in a gate. Dad, I will never be able to express how thankful, how grateful, and how much I appreciate you giving me that car. That car put me on a trajectory for life that was exactly what I needed at that point. Thank you, Dad. I love you. I did my second episode of the podcast with the older brother that I've never had. Thank you, and I love you too, Morgan McCoy. Keno, Max Bondo, John, Nolan, and all took their time to teach me how to swing a golf club. I worked a lot. I had to. I had a big move around the bend. July. Gym, books, therapy, meditation, prayer. I started writing more. I rode my bike 30 miles by myself one day, too. I also got into the habit of calling old friends. This was important. You guys know who you are. I was in the best shape of my life at the time. My happiness was coming back. I loved my friends and family more and more each day. I started diving deeper into the thoughts of Stoicism, specifically from Meditations by Marcus Aurelius. I ended up driving to Des Moines to see a girl. We ate pad thai. I took a lot of selfies with my hand in the air. I also went to some of my favorite concerts. August. This one was my favorite. Gym, books. I stopped going to therapy, meditation, prayer, writing, biking, quality friend time. I was getting better at a word before we leave, my podcast. I sold and got rid of a lot of stuff. I was in beautiful shape. I felt confident. I started saying goodbyes to as many people as humanly possible. I wish I could have said goodbye to more. For the first time in my life, I learned truly how hard a goodbye is. I followed down the path of my dreams. I moved to Los Angeles to continue my pursuit and career in acting. Phil and Claire tagged along, and Connor waited for us with open arms. I swam in the ocean a lot and started turning old friends and common acquaintances into new friends. September, I painted my nail green, got a serving job to pay the bills at a hotel pool bar, got my first professional headshots, more gym, books, meditation, podcasting, LA, adventures, living. October, I started dating again. This felt like such a huge step. I'll be honest, the breakup preceding the car crash destroyed me. The old TikToks from the hybrid account can show exactly how down bad I was. That's the best way to put it. I was down bad. And the people that were around me were supporting me as much as they could. But what came down to it was that I had to pull myself out of the little abyss that I had found myself in. And what came from it was a lot of growth and a lot of humanity. And I think I'm a better person because of it. I'd hope to think so. Anyways, I started dating again. My heart felt whole in Los Angeles. I started making my website. I started auditioning for small roles in the city. I started making a lot of new friends out here. I got cast as a frat boy in a student film. It was fun and for free, and there was a talking shark. More gym and everything that has previously preceded it on the daily routine. I'm still on a continual process of mastering this habitual healthy daily habit, but at this point, I was very sound in what I was doing day to day to invest in my future. I painted myself blue. Also, Diego and Terrell felt like some of the newest, truest friends I had. November, I started to slow down and enjoy the moments during this month. Work hours were slowly getting cut at the hotel pool bar, which gave me more free time, while also budgeting and living a lot cheaper due to the shortened hours. I got tested for allergies in the state of California. Let's just say I'm allergic to all of it. My triceps are now big. Healthy routine continues. I started taking improv classes at UCB. Every Wednesday I got to act and do improv, and it was always the highlight of my week. Shout out to Finger Guns if you're watching. I finished my website. more small auditions around town, lots of Madden with Phil, some coffee with Claire, pizza with Connor, and FaceTiming Sydney and Ethan constantly. Occasionally Aaron, if he wasn't busy. I met my other family and relatives that live in California for Thanksgiving. That was nice. I got COVID from Thanksgiving. That was not so nice. December. More routine, more podcasting, a little bit of quarantine at the start because of the COVID thing. I ended up getting a commercial talent agent. That's a big step. I continue to go to work. I was now working at 2 jobs, waiting tables. I ended up going home for Christmas back in Kansas City. I got to see family and loved ones. Got to see my grandparents. Got to see my dad as well. Surprised him on his birthday because my flights got canceled. 2 flights got canceled on the way there. I'm guessing that I'm not the only one that had a flight canceled this Christmas season. And that pretty much brings me to now. Here I am, reflecting on the year. And like I said at the start of the video, I had a problem, a question that needed to be answered, and I did find my answer. And it actually comes from this right here, along with this video I'm going to link from Van Neistat. Van says this.
You know, storytellers are sensitive people. People who choose to do this for a living, we're sensitive. And I would rather be strong and rational. I'd give it away, and I'd rather be a strong, rational person than this sensitive crybaby. And, you know, I think Kreischer's like this. His daughter's fine now. She's off to college next year. And a story in its essence is a model that connects us to the human experience.
Lizzie says this. There is no shame in being honest, and there is no shame in being vulnerable. It's the beauty of being human. From Everyday Feelings, written by Lizzie Bromley. Being a storyteller, an actor, a filmmaker, a podcaster, a human, etc., is to accept that life is vulnerable. It is impossible to not share myself and my experiences and who I am through the things that I create. If I'm writing something down, inevitably the ink will bleed through, and that ink is me. It's my essence. It's who I am. And to avoid that and to not share that would be criminal. To not do justice to who I am at this point in my life, and to you, the viewer, and to anyone that would watch this. It's okay to be vulnerable. You can still be private and still be vulnerable at the same time. A year is long. A month is long. A week is long. A day is short. You only have so much time to do the things that you may want to do in this day. So going into 2023, I challenge you guys, and I challenge myself, first and foremost, to take advantage of each day, because you don't know what's going to happen next. Trust the process. And be vulnerable. It's the greatest thing you can do. Thank you.